So today we'll discuss about deletion in linked list. So for suppose we'll take a linked list. We can take it as A, B, C, D, and we'll take one more E. So E is null address having null, and 100 is the starting address, 200, and it is pointing to 200, 300, 300, 400 is the 400 address, 500 is pointing here. So these are the 5 nodes we are having. So we need to delete the node which is hit the last. So we need to delete this particular node. We need to delete this node. Need to delete it. So what we will do is, first we'll see the approach. How can we delete that? So what is the deletion? If we delete that, then what are the major impacts on that? So we look at that. This is the starting address. This is the start node address. Okay. So we have started here, and till from here to we need to reach here, because we need to delete that last node, right? So what is the last node? How can we identify in linked list? If some x dot next equals to null, then we can say that this x is last node. You can say that this x is last node in the linked list, because if it is not last node, then you should have some reference to next node, right? When this is empty, this is the last node, you can say if this condition is satisfied, then you can say that it is last node. You can say that it is last node, right? So we'll check for this condition where this occurs. So we'll move that. So we'll start from here. So this is yes. We are starting here. So this is yes. S dot next equal to null. So it's a false. S dot next, we can say that x not equal to null. True. So if it is true, then we'll move to next node. We are here. S is here now. Again we are checking. S dot next. Not equal to null. True. So we'll move from here to here. Now S is pointing to 300. So again check that S next not equal to null. So we moved from here to here, right? S again we checked it, S not equal to null, then we moved from here to here. So now we came here, right? What is our S address? S address is 500. S is pointing to 500. Okay. So what is S next? What is S? 500. 500 dot next. So in linked list we have two values every time, right? So if we have a linked list like this, right? Some, you can say this is the address X. So you can say some value F here, and you can say that you can say some null value here or some address, right? So you can call this as X, right? In that, this one is, how can you access this element? X dot data, whatever you define that, then it will give this particular data. How can you get this data? That is X dot next. We have seen it in last define why we are using data and next. We have seen it in previous concept that we'll use for next pointer we'll use next, and for data we use data, right? So here the thing is, what is the 500 next is the null, right? What is that 500 next is, what it gives? It gives us null, right? Because this is the 500 dot next. How can we access the next value? This is the next, that is 500 dot next, that is implies that is null. So we have discussed that if s next equal to null, then we will say that this is the last node, right? So our problem is we need to delete this particular node, right? We know that. So we directly came here as, but here how can we delete? We need to make this node, that is 400 dot, we need to make this particular address as null, right? In the linked list always we need to make this particular last node next value always will be next null in single linked list. If it is circular linked list, then it is pointing to somewhere. We'll discuss those things in remaining concepts. Okay, 400 dot next, here we need to make it null. 400 dot next we need to make it null, but there is a issue, right? Have you observed that? That is, you crossed here, that means you crossed this particular node, but you need to remember this node. How can you remember that? We'll use one more pointer, that so if you are doing that, s is equal to s dot next, if you are doing that, before what I will do is I will take some p and I will assign that s. That means if my s is here, see, I will do it from start. First my p equal to null, I will take p equal to null, okay? Then inside this I am taking while loop, while s next not equal to null, then I am performing all these operations, okay, right? Once it is the last node I found, then I will do the remaining things, right? So what I am doing here, see, first my p address is 200, so sorry, my p address is null, right? S next, s is here, s is pointing to something else, so I will move forward, right? Before that, before I am moving forward, what I will do is I will assign this p to here, p equal to s equal to p, and I am moving this s to here, right? So like that, every time first p is 100, then s is, if p is 100, then s equal to next, s equal to s next, that is 200, right? Now we are checking that 200 here, 200 dot next, 200 dot next is 300, right? It's not equal to null, that means it's true, will come inside. What is the p now? S now 200, I will assign 200 here, and what I am doing, s equal to s next, s is 200 and s next is 300, so I am making 300. Now my s is 300, I am calculating again s next, I am at s next is 400, not equal to null, it's true. What I am doing, so what I am doing, I am assigning s value to p. So what is the s value? 300. I am changing s equal to s next. What is s next? This is s, this is the next. What is that? 400. I am changing it to 400. Now s became 400, right? S next 400, this next is 500, so it's not equal to null, true condition. Then what I am doing is, see, what I am doing is, it's not true, right? It's true, that means it's going down. I am assigning p to s, S value to P. What is S value? 400. I am assigning here 400. Then what I am doing? 400 I assign there. 400 next, that is 500, right? 400 next, that is 500. So I am assigning 500 here, right? Again I came here 500 dot next, not equal to null. It's false because 500 is this. 500 dot next, it implies null. So this is null, this is null, not equal to null. S not equal to null, it is false. So loop is terminated. loop terminated loop terminated loop terminated. So see, what is the P address? You can see it from here. 400, it is the 400. Now what is S100? S address is 500. So what you need to do is, see, the thing is where you need to make the changes here, right? What you need to do, this 400 dot next, you need to make it, that is P dot next. You need to make it null, right? Or otherwise you can use S dot next as well. S dot next as well, because S dot next, 500 next is null. You can use this one, or you can use directly null. Okay, now what you need to do, you have removed this particular link. Now this link has gone. Now this became null. This became null, right? So you deleted, I mean your linked list is now only 4 nodes, but it's not end because S is pointing to address. You haven't deleted S, just you broke the link. Now what you need to do, now S is pointing still, but what you need to do, you need to free the S, right? But if you free the S, that means S became here dangling pointer. S became dangling pointer. It is pointing some address, but what you need to do, you need to assign S is equal to null, right? Then you are done. So I will write the code here and I will explain once again, so you can see that it's a very easy. If you understand these concepts, these lines and well, then you are done. So you got the one function, one function, that is you got one function, let's say that is function of struct node, that is the starting address. So what you are doing, if S is equal to null, then you are return empty only, because you don't have any list, you will return null, empty only. Okay, so here if it is not empty, then we have conditions that while S not equal to S next, S dot next not equal to null, then we'll run the while loop, right? So how can we run? There is that P equal to S, as we discussed here, and S is equal to S dot next. What it does is, if you move S one pointer ahead here, P will stay here, because we need to delete this particular, we need to assign this next value equal to null, and we need to delete this particular node. So what we will do is, we'll take we are getting S1, then we are modifying it in some node, that is star S equal to S1, and p equal to null. We have taken p equal to null in the initial, right? Okay, then what we are doing, p dot next equal to null. You can assign directly null, or you can do s dot next as well. Then free the s, and s is equal to assign the null. Then completely you have deleted without written s1. Okay, now this is the new node which is pointing to that thing. So I will explain you again, you will get the very clarity. If you know these things, then deletion in doubly linked list, and by giving some value, data some x, you can delete it easily. So consider that p equal to null, as we discussed, p equal to null. Make sure that p equal to null initialized, and s is the starting address. We are assigning starting address, right? Yes. So here s is not null, so we'll move to next, right? Then our s is 100 now. S is, because we are getting 100 here, s is equal to 100 now, right? 100 dot next, so it is there. So we move forward, that now p equal to 100, p equal to 100, and this is the 200, because s dot next is 200. Now again 200 dot next, that is 300, so it's not null. Then we'll assign s value. What is the s? 200. We assign 200 here. And what we are doing, s dot next, 200 dot next is 300, and we are doing that 300. Next 300 dot next, 300 dot next is 400. It's not equal to null, true. Then come inside, what is the s value? S value is 300. We are assigning s value here. Then s, what is the s? S is 300. 300 dot next is 400. We are assigning 400 here. Okay, 400 dot next, 400 dot next, not equal to 400 dot next, not equal to null, true. We came here, we assign 400 here. Okay, s next, s is 400, 400 next is 500. We came here 500. 500 dot next, 500 dot next is null. So this condition is failed, not true. That means it is not true, right? Not true. So what is the p? P is 400. What is the 400 next? That is showing 500. So we will make this as null now. Okay, we'll make this as null now. We'll free up the yes, then it is done this. Then we are assigning s equal to null. So it's done the complete, and we are returning this s1, right? Yeah, remaining things we'll discuss in next concept, that is most probably in deletion of a node at given data x. If it is there, then we'll delete that, and later we'll discuss about other concepts that are majorly important in interview questions. Thank you guys.